All right, so I'm going to get into the Draymond stuff, but first I want to touch on the moves the Warriors made in the offseason. Everybody thinks I don't like Mac McClung. It's not that I don't like him, it's just I don't feel like he plays Warrior style of basketball. There's too much ball stopping, and during the Summer League, he was struggling to get the ball to the guys. He wasn't really being a pass first point guard, getting the ball to Wiseman, getting the ball to Kuminga. It was too much ball stopping, it was too much shot jacking, trying to be flashy, trying to be fancy. And I just feel like if Steph Curry or even like a Fred Van Fleet want to be a ball stopper who puts the ball in the basket and ISOs at 6'2" or whatever, I could live with that. But I can't live with a guy towards the end of my bench being a complete ball stopper and not playing within a system, particularly for a championship team. If you wanted to play that style of basketball on a team like, I don't know, like a team like the Hornets or a team that's not going to do anything this season, I could understand that. But on a team like the Warriors, I don't really see where a guy like this really fits. But he does, not to get on him too much, he does provide a scoring punch that the bench pretty much lacks. But more likely than not, that nod of a guy who's going to go out there and score the ball besides Poole coming off that bench is most likely going to be Dante DiVincenzo, who they also picked up. Dante gives them shooting and size at the guard spot, and being a Nova product, they know he knows how to play within a system. He's about 6'4", 6'5", big dude. His defense is inconsistent, but I've seen Dante lock in when he feels like he needs to. When he was playing with the Milwaukee Bucks, he was locked in on the defensive side of the ball. When he played with Sacramento, he was jacking up a lot of ill-advised shots, and he was not playing the best defense that he could. But I suspect that with the Warriors playing for a winning culture, with that organization, he's going to put his best foot forward. And he's trying to bank on himself. He's trying to set himself up so that way he can get a good contract somewhere else, similar to Otto Porter, where you come to Golden State and you try to resurrect your career. Quindary Witherspoon could be the Gary Payton II replacement if he gets enough minutes. Not quite sure he can be as effective on the offensive end around the basket and hitting open jumpers, but I do believe he can be just as much of a pest on the defensive end, particularly on bigger players because he's way bigger than GP2. I'm hoping he gets Iggy's spot on the roster because Iggy is cooked, but we'll see if Iggy retires or not. My guess would be no. Iggy seems to enjoy riding the pine on the Warriors, being that player coach, similar to Udonis Haslem, kind of giving orders, getting into the game every once in a while. I did feel like Iggy costed the Warriors big time in game one in that fourth quarter when the Celtics went on that huge run. Iggy at this point in his career, he's not going to stretch the floor with his shooting, and he doesn't really stay in front of guys like he used to, so I don't really know what value he brings on the roster. I wish he would just take like a coaching spot, be some type of assistant, but with him it seems like he's either going to be on the roster as a player or not be a part of the organization at all. So we'll see how that turns out. JaMychal Green as the Otto Porter replacement is interesting. He provides much better defense. Otto was probably the biggest cone on Golden State besides Poole last season. He's also a better athlete at this point in his career than Otto, so he will be moving up and down the court much better. He's not the knockdown natural shooter that Porter was, but he should make just enough to keep the defense honest, especially in that short three-point corner. I suspect that Green will hit a good percentage of those. I think the biggest impact he will bring, though, is actually going to be as an enforcer alongside Wiseman. Draymond's going to be starting next to Looney, but, assuming that the rotation goes as we all expect it, it's going to be Wiseman and JaMychal Green as the big guys coming off the bench. And I think Green will be that enforcer that helps Wiseman deal with the physicality in the NBA. Somebody has to stop other players from punking Wiseman in that second unit when guys try to be extra physical with Wiseman, when guys try to get over on him. JaMychal Green's going to be there to kind of settle the score and to kind of just keep everybody honest. This team will definitely have to rely on the young guys more this year, the Wisemans, the Mingas, the Moody's, but the guys I mentioned already should help. I think Clay will be in better form with a full season under his belt, and the postseason experience for Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins should do wonders. And look, the Suns match up well with Aiden returning, but the Suns always choke. The Nuggets have a ton of weapons. I thought KCP was a great pickup, but they still haven't shown to play any defense. Maybe KCP and Bruce Brown will change the culture in Denver, but I'll have to see it to believe it when it comes to Denver playing defense. And Memphis is good, but it still feels like they're young. So I'm not sure if Golden State can repeat next season. It really depends on how the Eastern Conference plays out with Giannis and Boston and KD and all that drama. But a super early look, I do like the Golden State Warriors' chances of at least getting back to the NBA Finals. It looks like they're poised to go on another run through the Western Conference, but it's too early, and we'll just have to wait and see about that. Now, finally, the Draymond Green situation. He is eligible for a max extension, but the Warriors don't have to do it yet. The Warriors waited to give Clay one. The Warriors even waited to give Steph one. So I do suspect that the Warriors are going to wait before giving Draymond one. I think they're able to give Draymond one as of August 3rd or August 4th. August 3rd or August 4th, they're able to give Draymond one. But I suspect that they're going to wait a while before doing so. Sources close to the Dubs have reported that Draymond could be out, but I think for that to occur, three things would have to be true. At least one of these three things would have to be true. Warriors don't want him for the right price, other teams really want Draymond, or Draymond wants to play somewhere else. And I don't think any of those three things are true. Maybe a Chicago situation on the Bulls with being like an emotional support system for DeRozan, who we know he's really close with DeRozan. He just did an interview with DeRozan. Maybe help Patrick Williams figure out how to play that power forward defensive lockdown position. Be a mentor for Patrick Williams. Maybe be a guy who can step in for Patrick Williams if Patrick Williams just ends up not fulfilling the role. Being a guy like Lonzo and Caruso's won before, but being a guy that those young guys like a Kobe White or Alonzo they could learn under a Draymond Green. So maybe a situation like that. Maybe Atlanta looks to Draymond to help Trey the way he helped Steph, being somebody who could cover for Trey on the defensive end when he gets beat or when he's getting bullied, the same way that Steph used to get bullied before Steph put on weight and became a really solid defender. People sleep on Steph. I would say if I had to give a grade on Steph's defense at the point guard position, a lot of these point guards, they're not checking nobody. I would say in the postseason, Steph Curry is like, you're going to think I'm crazy, but Steph Curry is like a B plus defender, bro. Like Steph Curry on the perimeter, even with like a big guy like Marcus Smart trying to pound into him and try to be very physical and getting into the post. Like Marcus Smart wasn't really trying that on Steph as much as he was trying it on Poole. Like when Marcus Smart had Poole on him, he was going straight to the low post. But with Steph, it's like they tried it a little bit, but Steph is just too resilient. He's much bigger now. But to get back to the point, does Draymond really want to go from championship level basketball to playoff basketball? Would he really bank on himself changing a whole culture on his own? To me, that's just too much risk versus reward for his legacy. It could end up exposing himself in many ways. Playing with LeBron is also a possibility. We know he is now in competition with Shannon Sharpe and Nick Wright as like the biggest LeBron fans on God's green earth. Anytime we see Bron in the offseason, Draymond is hiding right behind him. Side note, I know Draymond said he was just joking about going to see Bron break the scoring record, but I think he was only joking because he got pushed back. He played it off smooth, but I truly think he was dead ass in the moment when he said it. If the Warriors don't have a game, he will fly in to go see LeBron break that scoring record. And if the Warriors have a game, before those comments were made, he might have requested it off, bro. Like just looking at how Draymond is when it comes to LeBron, he might have even said he has an injury and got load management, and then all of a sudden we're all watching the Laker game on ESPN seeing Bron break the record, and then boom, Draymond's in the crowd. Like something like that, bro. I would not be surprised. But, at the end of the day, the Warriors have shown, besides the GP2 situation because the tax would have been too much, the Warriors have shown that they will pay up. They will pay up. Even if they don't give max money, they will give a lot of money. And I highly doubt that they play super cheap with a homegrown product who has won 4 rings with them as the defensive anchor, the verbal leader, and the quasi-floor general / coach on the floor. I mean, Draymond's really the point guard on offense and defense. He's the guy who's calling all the shots and everything on the offensive end at the top of the key, running the pick and roll as the screener, doing the dribble handoffs, getting everybody in position. And he's also that guy on the defensive end who, he might not be their greatest on-ball perimeter defender. That's probably Wiggins at this point. He might not be the best big man defender in the post. It might be Kevon Looney at this point. But what Draymond provides is he could pretty much be like a Swiss Army knife that could do everything, He can be here, he can be there, he can guard bigs, he can guard guards, he can do everything for them. And because of that, and because of his relationship with ownership and Steve Kerr and how long he's been there, you really can't sleep on the fact that he's a homegrown product. I really doubt that they let Draymond walk away. If they were going to let Draymond walk away, it would have been during his little beef with Kevin Durant. And to keep Kevin Durant, they might have got rid of Draymond at that point. But because they didn't get rid of Draymond there, I highly doubt that they're going to get rid of Draymond Green. I suspect that Draymond Green will most likely be a Warrior for life, and that could very well mean more rings for him and the Golden State Warriors in the future. But that's it on that. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the videos. Till next time, peace.